This is a bag of fertilizer that costs 25 euros. To you, it's plant food. To the agricultural industry, it's a product you have to buy again every single year. But can you imagine that there might be a much cheaper way? Take a look at this. More than 100 years ago, a French farmer experimented with something that cost less than $1. A simple copper wire, no fertilizer, no chemicals, nothing but a copper wire. And yet, he reported much larger harvests, healthier plants, and fewer pest problems. How could that be? Especially when we're constantly told that modern agriculture cannot function without fertilizer. Every year, more than 185 million tons of fertilizer are used worldwide. And yet soils continue to deteriorate while costs keep rising. Given that fact, doesn't it seem reasonable to ask, what if part of what your plants need is already available for free right above your garden? Because that is exactly what electroculture claims. Want to know what's really behind it? Then stay tuned, because in this video I'll show you why an invisible electrical field exists above every garden, why researchers in China measured yield increases of nearly 30% using electrical field technology, and how you can potentially boost your harvest for less than the price of a cup of coffee. Total cost, under $5. Setup time, less than 10 minutes. Potential benefits, stronger growth, fewer pests, and a completely new perspective on how plants work. But before I show you how to build the copper spiral, you need to understand why this idea sounds plausible in the first place. Because very few people realize that every plant is already part of a gigantic electrical system. Did you know that every piece of land on Earth exists beneath an invisible electrical field? Take a look. The sky is positively charged. The ground below is negatively charged. On a clear day, the voltage difference is roughly 100 volts per meter of height. This does not result in electric shocks. Although the voltage is relatively high, the measurable current is extremely small. For comparison, if you stand barefoot on the ground, there's a voltage difference of about 200 volts between your feet and your head. You don't feel a thing. It is a silent, permanent voltage, a kind of electrical tide that never stops flowing. And right in the middle of this field stand your plants. Every blade of grass, every tomato plant, every bean. Their leaves collect charges from the air. Their roots remain connected to the soil. In a sense, the plant becomes a living antenna, bridging the gap between the sky and the earth. And how it gets even more interesting, because plants don't just use electricity from the outside, they generate it themselves. Researchers have shown that plants send electrical signals through their cells. These signals regulate growth, stress responses, and even defense mechanisms against pests. When a leaf is damaged, the plant sends electrical warning signals to other areas. Plants literally communicate through electricity. And this is where early researchers asked a provocative question. If a plant is already an antenna, what happens if you enhance that antenna? At the beginning of the 20th century, inventor and farmer Justin Christofleau experimented with copper wires and spirals placed in the soil. His theory was simple. Copper could collect atmospheric energy and direct it into the root zone. His observations were extraordinary. Christofleau claimed that oats grew up to 5 feet tall and that old dying trees came back to life. Photographs from that era show vegetables that many people today would call mutated. Giant pumpkins, cabbages measuring more than 3 feet across. He published his findings in books and agricultural journals and invited anyone interested to visit his experimental gardens. Believe it or not, one thing has since been demonstrated. When conductive antennas are placed near plants, they can generate weak electrical currents that influence plant metabolism and may improve nutrient uptake from the soil. This process has been associated with enhanced growth, increased resistance to pests and diseases, and improved moisture retention in the soil. Some proponents also argue that the electromagnetic fields produced by copper spirals or antennas help restore microbiological balance in the soil, leading to healthier plants and higher yields. That is how the copper spiral became the symbol of what is known as electroculture. And not by accident. Spirals appear everywhere in nature. Sunflowers, snail shells, galaxies. Spirals have long been associated with the ability to collect and concentrate energy from larger areas into a single focal point. But for many people, it sounded too good to be true. When synthetic fertilizers began their global rise in the 1920s, knowledge about natural plant enhancement was gradually pushed aside. The Haber-Bosch process made industrial nitrogen fertilizer incredibly affordable. Production exploded, the market grew, and suddenly agriculture became dependent on products that had to be purchased year after year. A controversial method that supposedly worked with a single piece of copper wire for years did not fit that model at all. Whether that is the reason electroculture faded into obscurity remains a subject of debate. What is certain is this: interest almost completely disappeared. Until modern researchers revisited the idea. A few years ago, Chinese researchers conducted one of the largest experiments ever involving atmospheric electricity. Not in a garden, not on a small test plot, but across approximately 3,600 hectares of farmland. The results attracted significant attention. Crop yields increased by an astonishing 30%. At the same time, pesticide use dropped by as much as 70 to 100% in some cases. This does not automatically prove every claim made about electroculture, but it suggests that electrical fields and plants may interact far more strongly than most people have assumed. If you want to find out for yourself, try it. Here's the practical setup. Get some bare copper wire. Around 14 gauge works well. That's roughly the thickness of a sturdy paperclip. Take a wooden dowel. A diameter of 12 to 16 millimeters is ideal. Loosely wrap the wire around it. Create a spiral between 5 and 20 centimeters in diameter. Make several turns, but not too tightly. Air and light should be able to pass through the gaps. Place the spiral, together with the wooden dowel it is wrapped around, about 10 to 15 centimeters deep into the soil. The top of the spiral should remain slightly above the surface. And now comes the detail many people forget. Point the tip toward magnetic north. Why? The Earth's magnetic field curves around the planet. According to electroculture theory, aligning the spiral northward helps it to interact more effectively with these natural geomagnetic lines. A simple compass is all you need. Place the spiral 10 to 20 centimeters away from your plant. Tomatoes, beans, squash, or leafy greens, all are good candidates for an experiment. And now, do nothing. Observe, document, measure, take photographs, because that is the only way to know whether anything actually changes. And you wouldn't be alone. In recent years, electroculture has gained a growing number of supporters because it offers a natural alternative to chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Gardeners and farmers around the world report impressive results: faster growth, stronger plants, fewer disease problems. Many also use it as a tool for restoring depleted soils, since it aims to stimulate natural processes that improve fertility. Because it requires very little financial investment and is relatively easy to implement, it has become one of the most talked about techniques in sustainable agriculture and organic gardening. So let's compare the two one last time. On one side, fertilizer you have to buy every year. On the other, a piece of copper wire that costs less than a cup of coffee. Will it work in every garden? Maybe. That is exactly why it is called an experiment. And that is exactly how science begins,